When this lost dog saw who was standing in front of him, he began to shed tears. When this sad dog was found wandering the streets, he didn't seem to like humans. He wasn't aggressive or mean. He was just a really sad dog that didn't want to become attached to anyone at the shelter he was taken to. That is, until one day, he saw someone special standing in front of him. His reaction will leave you with all the good tears running down your face. So grab the tissue. This is a great story of love that remains and of never giving up hope. Hey there, Viral Videos here. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell. We post the most beautiful, amazing, and scary videos every single day. Let's proceed with the video. When this family in Tennessee got their pup, they loved him instantly. They called him Runt because he was the smallest pup from the litter, and they just knew that he would never have to fight for his food again, as many Runts do. They planned on giving him everything that they could. They lived on a farm, and he would have massive, wide spaces to roam into. At first, they always kept him close. A young dog still needs to learn boundaries, and they needed to keep him safe. Runt had a great life as he got older. The family trusted that he knew where he was and wouldn't go further than was safe. He was about 3 years old by then, and had never attempted to leave the property. The family thought he was safe. It was a mistake, one that they would pay much too big a price for, and one that would break their hearts for many years. One day they called Runt in for dinner, but he didn't come. This was really strange, because he never missed meal times. Quickly, the family spread out and looked for him, but he was nowhere on the property. They searched every nook and cranny, but he had disappeared. He must have wandered off the property, and now he could be lost. They looked for him for days, but as days became weeks and weeks became months and later years, they lost hope and didn't believe they would ever see their sweet pup again. Somehow, Runt had made it 10 miles or 16 kilometers away and started living on the streets in a neighborhood surrounded by businesses. Kind strangers got used to seeing the dog around, and they kept him fed while he lived there. He always gratefully took the food, but wouldn't allow them to show him love in any other way. He was a loner that would never be aggressive, but that would not encourage familiarity. Everyone in the area knew him, and he didn't make a menace of himself, so they let him be and just made sure that he always had water and food. Then the pandemic hit. People weren't going into their businesses, and instead they were working from home. No one would be around to feed Runt or to take care of him. Many of the kind people who had cared for Runt for more than 2 years by then were worried about him. The city got a few requests to go and find him and care for him, and that is what they did. Runt was found and taken to the Washington County Johnson City Animal Shelter. At the shelter, he was named Roscoe, and he was given a warm bed to sleep in, plenty of food and water, and even the occasional snack. He took these politely, but when the nice people at the shelter tried to bond with him, he retreated back into his shell. Many stray dogs are scared when first coming to a shelter, and they need time to adapt to their new surroundings and people who just want to love them. Many have only known pain, and they might be scared of humans. But with the dog that they now called Roscoe, this didn't seem to be the case. He was never scared of them. He would take treats politely out of their hands without grabbing them, but he just showed no emotions. He had no interest in making friends with any of them. Tammy Davis, the shelter's director, said that it was like he didn't want to be comforted by us. He didn't want to be touched. It was like he was kind of just existing. It didn't matter what they did. He had no real excitement about any of it. They tried to get him to play with them and gave him toys and treats, and never did he show any emotions. His tail never wagged, and he had no joy in his life. He was just there. According to Tammy, he was timid and reserved. It was like he had no personality. He wasn't acting like a dog at all. After 6 months at the shelter, things hadn't changed. He was just as stand as he had been the first day when they had brought him there. He still wanted nothing to do with them. And it was clear that despite their best interests, they were never going to be able to reach him. But at the same time, he wasn't showing any signs of aggression or other behavioral issues that would make him unadoptable. Just because he wasn't very cuddly didn't mean that he didn't deserve a good home. But would anyone be willing to take in a dog that may never become their best friend? They didn't know, but they had to give him a chance. The shelter was using its social media pages more than ever to bring awareness of available dogs. This was because people couldn't just pop in for a visit during COVID, so they decided that they would create a post about Roscoe too. They wouldn't oversell him. They didn't want him to be returned to the shelter because people weren't getting the dog they expected. So they decided to be almost brutally honest. They wanted him to be comfortable and get a forever home where he would have the space he needed to live his life without the expectation of being cuddly. So they explained that they had him in the shelter for 6 months, but that he had not formed any attachments to any of the people in the shelter, and that he made it clear that he didn't want to. They went on to say that he would take treats and be polite, but that he would then move away quickly. The post also explained that the shelter believed that he had spent most of his life as a stray, and ended with a warning that he wouldn't be the dog to choose if he wanted a cuddle buddy. They hit the post button, and then the wait started. They really wanted to find Roscoe a good home where he could be happy. Not that happiness was an emotion that he seemed familiar with, but at the very least, one that he could be comfortable and relaxed in. Everyone felt bad for the big dog with the sad brown eyes, and they would give anything to see him happy. But they would never have guessed the massive impact their social media post would have on the rest of Roscoe's life. The social media post did get a few hits from people asking about Roscoe, but there was one that stood out above all of them. Tammy was shocked when she read the message from someone who had seen the shelter's post. The person stated that they believed Roscoe was their dog, Runt, who had been missing for 3 years. At first, Tammy was very skeptical. They had estimated that Roscoe was around 6 years old. If he was lost for 3 years, that was half his life. How could this person know for sure that this was their dog? Was it just someone that was clinging to hope? Would they be disappointed when they realized that Roscoe was not in fact their missing dog? Runt's dad sent Tammy a bunch of photos they took of the dog. Many of them showed unique markings on his fur, and when she compared these with the markings on Roscoe, it did look extremely similar. It was really possible that Roscoe and Runt were the same dog. But even if he was, would it make any difference? This wasn't a happy dog. He might not recognize or care that his owners had found him. Tammy set up a time for the man to come in and meet with Roscoe. This way, they could see if the reunion would go as they hoped. The man came in, and you won't believe what happened next. They opened up Roscoe's kennel, and he looked up at the man. It took a few seconds, but when the dog finally realized who it was that was in front of him, he completely transformed. His tail was wagging, he was smiling, and he even shed tears. This wasn't the same dog that the shelter personnel had known. He was showing all his emotions and clearly remembered his family. He had just been waiting all that time to be reunited with them. Now he could once again be a happy dog, and they would make sure he never wandered away again. What do you think of this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like the video and subscribe. See you next time!